This is Morgan Foster
and Ethan Fidali.
And for our brain project, we will discuss the discovery of Broca's area. The scientists in this case are Simon Alberton and Paul Broca. Alberton was a scientist who read about a case where a man shot himself in the head, shattering his frontal skull bone. A doctor saw the pulsing brain through the wound and picked up a spatula. The doctor pressed different areas of the brain to see how the patient felt or reacted. When the doctor pressed a specific spot, the patient stopped speaking, and when the spatula was lifted, he could speak again. Alberton was interested by this case because it supported his theory of localization, the idea that a different region in the brain controlled each mental function. Alberton's theory of localization went against what many scientists believe about the brain. With very little support of his theory, his ideas were ignored. Paul Broca was an anatomist and surgeon with a passion for skulls, human origin, and primitive societies. He met a man named Le Borgne, who later received the nickname Tan. Tan lost the ability to speak because of brain damage due to epilepsy. By the age of 31, all Tan could say was Tan Tan. However, when pushed too far, he could say something else. He would swear voluntarily only in rage. Tan soon lost feeling in his right arm and then became paralyzed, and then developed gangrene from lack of care. He needed an amputation, and his surgeon was Paul Broca. Broca asked Tan questions in which Tan responded to by hand signals with the right answer. Broca asked Tan the same question for a few days to make sure it wasn't a lucky guess. From this interaction, Broca determined that despite Tan's inability to speak, he could still understand language. After Tan's death, Broca opened Tan's skull and realized his left hemisphere looked deflated and almost disintegrated when touched. The frontal lobe also contained a rotten cavity. Broca preserved Tan's brain after for comparison and looked for other aphasics or people with the neurological loss of speech. Broca met Major Leylong, who received the nickname Lilo. He lost the ability to speak except for 5 words. Broca performed a brain autopsy when he died, and Leylong's brain had a single hole of damage near the back of the frontal lobe, just like the other cases. This location is known as Broca's area for his discovery of the language node.
Broca's area is the section of the brain located on the posterior portion of the brain highlighted in red on the image to the left. This area is specifically related to the process of formulating speech. As shown in this image, an injury to this area of the brain causes many problems. Due to its main function in the production of speech, injury leaves the individual with the inability to talk. As previously stated, Le Borgne and Leylong both had injuries that very much represented the injuries shown by the hole in the brain to the left. After doing the autopsy on Leylong, Broca not only had one instance of this area being injured, but 2. This gave him a lot of support in the scientific community. Doctors began to give Broca numerous patients that had numerous different types of diseases and injuries that caused the posterior frontal lobe to be damaged. This added on to Broca's research because it proved that it didn't matter how the area was injured, just that the specific area was injured. After these many years of research, he not only proved that the area presently called as Broca's area was directly related to the process of speech, but also set the stage for research into all localization of the brain. Now, nearly every portion of the brain has a specific function that is related to its location. While doing all of this, Broca was able to maintain medical ethics by allowing each patient to die before examining, unlike the doctor that poked living brains to study. This doctor had no understanding of what would happen by performing this action, putting the patients in serious danger. Broca's name was not only given to the area of the brain because of his research, but how he did it.
For this project, both group members contributed equal amounts. Each of us read the chapter and highlighted main points in the case study. Together, we developed this PowerPoint presentation and did voiceovers when creating this video.